right,
fought back. What was the second reason?
Well, there were several things in there, but one of the things that made him, separated him from all the rest, was the fact that he had enough money to run his campaign, and he didn't have to seek huge amounts of funds for his reelection to keep somebody in his pocket so he could always have that cash to run on. Now, this area is a very tough one for people who are in politics. It should be looked at. It should be repaired, because it's gone way beyond what it should. The amount of money that even local politicians have to raise is out of line.
But you like that he was self-funding.
He was self-funding, and that meant that he wouldn't have anybody that he had to, that he had to appeal to in his decisions, which would have to be very strong and tough decisions. Somebody had to have a lot of courage. Well, he certainly seemed to have a lot of courage. And he didn't have that other thing. So all of these people I can see in the decisions, I know some of these people, some of these politicians, good guys, who are beholding to, some of the people that they've connected to run their campaigns, and they're bending in their in support or non-support or this or that. The decisions are being swayed by this relationship. He didn't have it.
What do you make of the virulence of the attacks against him? Is this the old left that you left in the media now? And
well, it certainly is the left doing it. And the virulence is because he's effective. That's what the virulence comes from. He's actually doing what he said he would do. It's an amazing thing in itself, isn't it? But he's actually accomplishing, returning to our basic principles of government that were given to us by those guys on the wall there, right? He's accomplishing it, and they're in disarray. He's one by one picking out the stuff the weeds, and they are the weeds. And so this is their dying breath. They have to stop him somehow. So you see these very extraordinary things that they come up with. That's what they do. They're conjuring lies and slanders against this man trying to destroy this presidency. It's that simple.
When you talk to me like this, and it's going to be seen all over the country, including way back in Hollywood, do people come up to you and say, John, what's going on? John, you're going to hurt your career. Or is it, we expect this from John Voight. It's well known now that he's an outspoken patriot, conservative.
Yeah. Well, you get a little of everything, of course. You also get guys that come up to you and say, hey, Johnny, great, keep going, will you?
Other actors?
Yes, other actors, people in the business. Yeah. I get a lot of support from people I appreciate, who I respect. So it's not all one way. And also, I like my peers. I like them. We're in the same industry. I understand them.
But do they like you?
Well, it's not so important to me. You see what I mean? That's not important to me.
Yes.
I mean, it may be important to me if I require, work. But there's enough people around who are of a conservative nature. But Hollywood has been infiltrated. Why? Because they're important. That's why the left is focused on Hollywood. That's why they're focused on our universities. And that's why, and if you can look at that subculture of the left, they know exactly what they're doing. They've organized, and been very effective. So we have a big job on our hands because our children are not being raised to appreciate our the greatness of our country, the greatness of our founding, principles. And thank God for Mark Levin. He is the watchman over this treasure, and a person who can explain the beauty of it and knows exactly where the attacks have chipped away at it too, because we have to get all that back.
You're very kind.